Hi guys, MrRoflWaffles here. Yesterday, Treyarch updated Black Ops 3 to patch 1.24, which contains a bunch of new features for the game, including, but not limited to, the introduction of the M1911 and AK-74U into the Zombies Chronicles maps. They fixed a death barrier when you're going into the Revelations boss fight, which has been there since launch. They also fixed the robots' feet on Origins, so they actually open consistently now when you shoot them, and they nerfed the Panzer's health on Origins, amongst many other things. I've already made a video on all of those patch notes that they officially released, and that's linked in the description down below for you to watch after this video, or it'll be linked on the corner of the video up there for you to click now. However, as soon as the patch came out, I tweeted and asked you guys to let me know if there was anything that you were seeing in your games that was new, that wasn't necessarily in the patch notes, but was still updated in patch 1.24. And I got a bunch of responses from you wonderful people on Twitter. Again, my Twitter's linked down below, by the way, if you want to follow me on there. But got a bunch of responses, and today I'll be going through all of the things that Treyarch either tried to sneak past us in this patch, which is a couple of things, or things that they maybe just didn't feel warranted actually being called out in the patch notes, but I certainly think you'll find interesting, and I think they're pretty cool as well. First things first, if you think back to when Black Ops 3 came out, they introduced a music player, and it kind of took us all by surprise, because you could play all of the music from the campaign, and a bunch of multiplayer music, and zombies, and lobby music, and all sorts of stuff. Really cool feature. With this patch, they've added all of the Zombies Chronicles specific songs, so things like Remember Forever, which you, as of yesterday I guess, before the patch came out, could only actually activate in-game by doing the Samantha's Dolls Easter egg, and a bunch of other songs as well that were written for Chronicles, written for those Samantha's Dolls Easter eggs, and now you can just get them in all their glory, out of game, in the menu, which is pretty damn awesome. By the way, I want to thank Sir Curly Fry IV for pointing that out to me. Another person I need to say thank you to is Alpha Hoser, who called out this next thing I'm about to talk about. Back in the day on Shang, if you were running around the map and you got a drop, it would be glowing green, and then a monkey would run over, try and steal it, start scuttling away, and as it was running away, the perk would be glowing still on its back. And that would mean that if you were trying to get a free perk, which you can get from the max ammo drops on Shang, you'd be able to see it fairly clearly against the backdrop of the glow of the drop itself. But then Chronicles came out, and that glow wasn't there. There wasn't any glow at all when the monkeys were running with the drops, and so it was really hard to see the perk bottles. But now, thanks to Alpha Hoser's call out, I went in-game, checked, and indeed, there is a very, very distinct red glow on those drops when the monkeys are running away with them now, which is just such good news because it makes it so easy to get the perk bottles. I mean, I feel like they actually made the duration of when the perk is available longer as well, so you've got loads of time, it feels like, so that's a really cool change too. Another change that got mentioned was from AshKey123, who said that prior to this patch, you could avoid getting monkey rounds on Ascension, but you could still have perks on your player just by getting the perks from either raindrops or on the house. Perkaholic didn't work because in the code it counted as you actually drinking the perk, but raindrops and on the house were just free perks that you were awarded, and as such, you could keep going through your game, and as long as you didn't buy a perk from a perk machine, you'd never get monkeys, which was an interesting little strat that you could do, I guess. But now, even if you're using raindrops and you don't buy any perks, as long as you're basically consuming some kind of perk in some way, it seems like you're gonna have monkeys no matter what. So that has, I suppose, been fixed, probably is the word to call it, and that's no longer a possibility. There were several sound changes to the maps that were called out by Ross the Boss, Let's Play For You, Hellshock77, and Crash97, so thank you to all of you guys for tweeting me about these. The first one was that on Moon, when you're running around, not only is the voice of the woman that calls out the excavators coming down louder now in-game, that's one of the things that was in the patch notes, but it also actually comes out of your controller now if you have that enabled as well. Here's a clip.
Power restored. Artificial gravity and life support online in Receiving Bay, Tunnel 6, Tunnel 11, Laboratories, Aerodrome.
So that's pretty loud and pretty clear, which is really useful if you're doing that egg and you need to be able to hear those excavators coming out. Obviously, that wasn't excavator audio just then, but I wanted to show you guys the sort of thing I was referring to, so that's a really cool change. There was another change on Origins as well, which was, I guess, designed to serve a similar purpose to that moon change that we've just talked about. If you guys played Black Ops 2, you'll no doubt remember that when Templar zombies spawned in that game, in order to destroy a generator, you'd hear a siren sound. That sound was kind of temperamental in Black Ops 3. You wouldn't always hear it, so you'd have the on-screen icon letting you know that they were there, but beyond that, sometimes it would be really hard to actually hear that they had spawned into the map. But no longer.
We must repel their attack, or the generator will fall!
In my opinion, it's much louder now, and according to Ross it is as well, so that's a really neat change too. That wasn't all on Origins though, there's more. The tank music is back.
To remain in one spot is tactically dangerous. We must keep moving.
Again, another thing, this one was reported by Hellshock, that people were saying was kind of sporadic in their games. They wouldn't always actually hear it. And I'm not sure if this got removed in a previous patch by accident by Treyarch, or if it was just never there in the first place in Black Ops 3, but the tank music is now there. It's epic as hell. This is what it sounds like. The final audio change mentioned by Crash was that on Kino, if you're running around the map doing the song Easter egg, you might remember from the original Kino that the characters would comment about the rocks that you're holding square on, saying, I found a piece of the meteor, things like that. And then they didn't do that in Black Ops 3 when Chronicles launched, and people were like, oh, okay, I guess they've just got rid of those quotes for whatever reason, fine, no biggie. But now they're back.
I found a piece of the meteor!
There was another change on Kino, which GameDude001 mentioned, that I also experienced tonight as well when I was getting gameplay for this very video. You guys might remember that in patch 1.23, Treyarch said that they had fixed the fact that zombies were attacking you really fast when you teleported back into Kino from the Pack-a-Punch room. Like, they'd instantly attack you and swarm you, and it would be really difficult to survive sometimes. So they said that they had fixed that, but I'm playing now on patch 1.24, and it's still a problem. I'm getting pretty much instantly hit, and that's not the way it should be. The zombies are supposed to run away from you for a very sort of split second to give you time to actually get out of that area. But it seems like whatever Treyarch has done in patch 1.24 has rolled back whatever changes they made in 1.23, and as such, it's still a little bit hairy in games now. Moving on to a fairly big change, I'd say, mentioned by a bunch of people, Sandman Lion, Max Call Ryan, and a bunch of other people. The Galil and M16 have been completely modified in-game now. They're still not available in weapon kits, which is unfortunate, but when you get the Galil out of the box, it has a big old red dot sight on it, and a bunch of other attachments as well, which is really awesome. I love the Galil. The Galil's really close to my heart, being just such a good, core, classic weapon in Zombies, and seeing it get all these attachments and be even better when it's Pack-a-Punched, etc. now, just makes me happy. But it didn't just happen to the Galil. It happened to the M16 as well. The M16, in fact, not only has a bunch of new attachments, it also has, I think, an ELO sight now, so you completely lost the iron sights of that gun, which were so classic with the kind of bar on the top, and just the sight itself gone ELO now, which is really crazy, but also the card that used to be attached to the gun, kind of tucked in there, is different. So, is Treyarch trying to tell us something here? The fact that Treyarch are changing the attachments is cool, I suppose, that's fine, and I get that, but the thing that's really interesting to me is the fact that they've changed that playing card. Is there something more to that? Is there some kind of Easter egg reference going on? Does it have to be a certain card for a particular reason, like it's a reference through some other business to some other Easter egg they've got going somewhere else, or maybe they just wanted... I don't know. I don't know why they've done this, but it's a change, and it's there, so I figured I'd mention it in this video. The attachments are really cool, too. Another change that a lot of people have mentioned came from Ubes, iEpicJames, and several others. On Origins, previous to this patch, you'd be playing around, and if you were in solo on an online game, and you got fairly far into it, you'd end up getting 3 Panzers every single time you had a Panzer round, and it would happen every 3 rounds. It was pretty grotesque, so you'd get to like round 25 or something, and boom, 3 Panzers. Round 28, 3 more Panzers. It was awful. But in local, you only got 1 Panzer. And it wasn't every 3 rounds, it was every 3, 4, 5, stuff like that. Now, since patch 1.24 has come out, it's now consistent across both. The 3 Panzer rounds every 3 rounds are gone, and now if you're in a solo online game, you get 1 Panzer every several rounds, every 3, 4, 5, that sort of thing. It's random now. Another change got mentioned to me by Marcos A. Diaz, who said that there's actually a new camo in-game now. It's called Cherry Fizz, and I'm assuming this is going to be another 500 million headshots deal, probably something like that at least, so we'll, in the next couple of days, get an update from Treyarch, and they'll say, it's Days of Summer, this event that Activision are kind of hosting, and they're releasing a bunch of stuff across all of their games, Black Ops 3, Modern Warfare, Infinite Warfare, all of them are getting updates, and so for Black Ops 3, the thing we're getting is the Cherry Fizz camo. The unfortunate thing is that 500 million headshot challenges were cool when it was the first time that they'd ever done that, but now it's like, I mean, we're gonna get the camo anyway, right? There's not actually a risk that we miss out on any of these camos. They wouldn't do that to us, right? Because they put the work into making it, so why would they then not release it, right? So, I'm just here like, okay, there's a new camo, cool, but I figured I'd include it anyway. And finally, and by the way actually, I'm sure there are a bunch of changes that I haven't spotted and none of you have, as of yet, tweeted me, and as such aren't in this video, and if you find some of those in your games in the next couple of days and weeks, drop a comment down below and let me know what those changes are. I'd be really interested to see, and maybe I could make another video like this and shout a bunch of you guys out. That would be really fun. Also, while I'm doing this kind of little segue, drop a like on the video. That would be fantastic. But the final thing comes from Deadeye1012, who's actually pointed out that on Moon, when the Chronicles came out, you'd get your spacesuit and you'd be running around, and that was that. But now, you don't only get your spacesuit, you get your backpack as well. It's a really small little aesthetic change, but I really like it. The fact that you now have the backpack on there, so when you're playing co-op, you can see the kind of box on everyone's back as they're running around. It's just a neat little bit of attention to detail. So, cheers Treyarch. Great changes as always. Here's a reminder that the official patch notes for the stuff I haven't talked about in this video are linked in the description down below and will be on screen right now for you to click if you want to basically go and figure out what else was in this patch, because there was a lot of it. I've been MrRoflWaffles, like I said a minute ago. Drop a like if you've enjoyed, subscribe for more patch notes stuff in the future. I'd like to make this a series if possible, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye-bye.